In the midst of a growing controversy surrounding the Department of State Services in Nigeria, a group of human rights lawyers has taken a stand against the security agency's alleged denigration of the legal profession. The lawyers, who were already pursuing a contempt case against the DSS, were further incensed by an offensive tweet posted on the DSS's official Twitter handle. The tweets referred to them as charge and bail lawyers and linked them with indigenous people of Biafra and the Eastern Security Network. Amidst national outrage and condemnation, the lawyers accused the DSS of threatening to frame them with terrorism-related charges, elevating the controversy to a global stage with plans to seek redress from international bodies. Concurrently, a Federal Capital Territory High Court issued an order to the DSS demanding the proper charging of the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, if criminal allegations or if criminal charges are not brought against him. Now, the court further ruled that Emefiele should be released on bail if not brought before a competent court within a week. While the DSS challenged the court's jurisdiction, the judge ruled in favor of Emefiele, emphasizing the importance of fair hearings and safeguarding fundamental human rights. Now let's have a conversation on all of these developments. Joining us here on the square today, Maxwell Okpara. Maxwell is a lawyer representing the suspended CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele. We also have Dennis Amakri, who is the former deputy director of the DSS. Initially, Dennis, I had said that we were going to speak with the former DG. I apologize for that mix-up. But gentlemen, you're welcome to the square.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed. I believe that I do not have Maxwell on at the moment, and so Dennis, let's have a good conversation about this while we wait on Maxwell to rejoin our connection. You've seen the development on the side of Council for Suspended CBN Governor. You've also seen how things have turned out with the DSS, an office you used to serve. What has been your readings into how things have turned out so far?
Well, I don't think there is any kind of skewed happening in the DSS. I think they are sticking to their roles and responsibility. And then, of course, there's a lot of misinformation. And then we have a lot of fake news going around. Tweets going around. I tried to reach out to the DSS and I discovered that in fact they are actually carrying out an investigation on that particular tweet that came in there, supposedly from the spokesperson, but it was even on site. So there are a lot of things going on, but generally, after analyzing the whole situation, I think that there is a misunderstanding of what the DSS actually stands for.
I see. And I'll have us talk a bit more about that misunderstanding that you have pointed out. But I am very curious about the investigation into this tweet. How should the public process that?
If the DSS is investigating a particular case, remember that all their cases are of national security value. They don't go and investigate who stole somebody's goods or something like that. And when it comes to national security, most of their area of operation are shrouded in secret. That's why some people prefer to call them secret police. But apparently, there are people in society that are dragging the DSS to come out and discuss what they are doing with them, which is not possible. So these are the areas of misunderstanding that we will talk about.
Indeed, we will. So I'll stay on this tweet, and I want to find out from you, and perhaps your sources may have spoken to you about this. Why is the DSS finding it necessary to investigate the tweet on their Twitter handle, and it's been there since for the last day?
No, did you say that they are refusing to investigate or they are investigating?
No, you have said that they are investigating the tweet.
Yes.
Now, what I want to understand is why they are investigating the tweet. It's still up there on their page.
Because it didn't come from them. Because it didn't come from them.
Oh, so why is it still up there? Do you know?
Well, they are not the what do you call it now? They don't manage that internet, the platforms. I can put down what I put there, that if I think that it's not the right thing, I can put it down. But I cannot put down what other people has already put on the internet. Do you understand?
No, I don't. Because if the DSS communication have got access to the Twitter handle, and they think that a tweet did not come from their office, they could pull it down as long as they have access to that Twitter handle. And so from what you know, why haven't they pulled it down?
No, they have to maybe go to Twitter. Twitter have to pull it down, not the DSS, because they didn't put it up there. If the DSS has such powers, that means any kind of tweet that they don't like, they can pull it down. That's what I'm telling you. It's not possible.
Yeah. So
the only people that can pull it down is Twitter.
Yeah. So then, this is what I'm explaining. The tweet linking the lawyers to IPOB and calling on the Nigerian people to act against these lawyers was on the official handle of the DSS. Now, if the DSS tells us that we are investigating this handle, yet they were unable to pull it down for more than 24 hours, it's difficult to reconcile both positions. It would sound as though on the inside, the DSS is saying, we do not agree with this, but on Twitter, on their official handle, they are telling the Nigerian people and the rest of the world, this is what we believe. Which one should we go for?
I don't think so. I think they have to contact Twitter and get it down. And then, of course, if what is out there is not from them, they have to investigate. And, of course, make sure that, they have some tools they can use. And that's what exactly they are doing, to pinpoint exactly how that thing came out.
Very well.
Using the logo of the service, etc. Yes.
Well, so the other way this would also make some meaning to those of us on the outside of the DSS is if the DSS tells us that their system, their Twitter handle was hacked. However, we haven't had any form of communication from the DSS. Twitter is not the only place the DSS can communicate. What do you know about why it's taking them so long?
Like I mentioned to you earlier, you are dealing with the secret police, an agency that does not do their operations on social media or on the pages of newspapers, So, in fact, when I was in service, we don't have a spokesperson. We don't. Yes, we don't. We forbid it. But now, because of societal needs and everything, the DSS have a spokesperson, at least to explain certain things once in a while. And it is not like a spokesperson of the president or governor that you will see every day to come and start discussing issues. No. It doesn't work that way.
Dennis, I don't mean to be hard on you because you're no longer with the service, but I'm just trying to understand how the service operates, and I'm going to come back to you. But Maxwell has joined us over the telephone. Maxwell, Dennis has just given us insider information about the fact that the DSS is investigating that tweet on the official handle on Twitter, and he says that it didn't come from the DSS. He also tells us that from what he's learning on the inside, this is an outside job, and the DSS cannot take it down. The reason the tweet is still up. Maxwell, what do you think about this?
My sister, you see, hello, can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
My sister, you see this kind of I don't know. I'm lacking the verb and the adjective to qualify this. The thing is very shameful. It's very, very shameful that DSS will come out to tell the whole world that somebody used their logo, used their name, used everything that has to do with our own #1 internal security agent.
Well, Maxwell, let me clarify that. The DSS has not said that. It is Dennis who's telling us, based on information he's gathered within the DSS, that is what what he's heard from the DSS. And so the DSS has not spoken directly about this. I'm only asking you, if this be the reason from the DSS, what would be your thoughts about it?
It is a lie from the pit of hell, for Christ's sake. Nobody should be telling us this. My sister, if your Facebook if your Facebook is being hacked, where do you run to? Is it not DSS? If somebody hack your social media, whatever, and use it to commit fraud, where do you run to? Is it not DSS? Now the DSS, somebody hacked you said a claim that somebody hacked your Facebook for how many days? They said that since August, and using it, and somebody used it to embarrass the entire nation, to say hospital, to embarrass the entire nation. This thing happened for over 48 hours now. The DSS are unable to unravel the person. It is now when I have written to the National Security Advisor, I've written to the President, I've written to the Senate President, I've written to the Speaker, asking them that they should suspend the director of DSS for incompetence, gross incompetence. Let them conduct investigation, whether it is from them or because you can't be a judge in your own case. Nobody's taking that as a defense from them. So the DSS director should step aside. He should step down first. Let them allow independent investigation to conduct it, to know who actually hacked the DSS Facebook. Who is the person? So I know that defense can never fly. It is them. It's DSS. It's because of when they see that how Nigeria reacted that they decided to put up this the most funny defense, which cannot even fly. It will fly. We'll get to the root. How can you use Nigeria to mess Nigeria up? DSS is Nigeria. The DSS director is not the DSS director. DSS is not the father's inheritance. He will retire, and another person will come. So when you are managing such a sensitive institution, you must be very, very careful. Just like a JAMB, how the issue of a JAMB, when JAMB and the Mesoma own came up, JAMB told you that nobody can hack our. I'm talking about JAMB, not even DSS, not security agents. JAMB. Then how much more of the DSS?
All right. So again, Maxwell. Again, Maxwell, I'll let you make your point, but again, I'd like to clarify. Dennis didn't say that the DSS response to him was that the account was hacked. He said it didn't come from them. Now, that could mean a lot of things. Perhaps we'll have Dennis break that down for us if he has any further information. But I do want to stick with you, Maxwell, for a little bit. Yesterday, after your news conferences, you did indicate that you had written to the executive arm of government. You had also written to the legislature and the judiciary. Talk to us about what has come of that over the last 24 hours or so.
I'm waiting now. I've written to them. I'm waiting for them to call me. I have my evidence. Remember that what gave rise to this is a gross violation of court order, disobedience of court orders. These are what gave rise to this. Are you getting what I'm saying? As I said to you, my sister, I have over 11 of my clients that are in their custody, which court has ordered the release. Nobody appealed against the judgment. The judgment is 6 of 60. They are still with them. I have it. If you want it, I wouldn't mind to give it to your correspondents in Abuja here. If I think I gave them yesterday. I have enough copies in their names in my car here. I can give it to you. So now that you are saying that it is all coming from you, my sister, I have my law firm, Master Law Firm and Associates. If somebody used my letterheaded paper to commit a crime, I should be held responsible. If the presumption is that the person is from Maxwell until it is being proved otherwise. Is that not so? Yes, until DSS were able to come and tell us that it's not from us. Look at the criminal that use our name, or use our gun, or use our ID card, or use our Facebook, or use our destiny to commit the crime. They should parade the person. Then Nigeria will know that, yes.
Which is the point I've been making with Dennis. And so, Dennis, it brings me back to you. I mean, what usually would have been the protocol if the DSS felt that they were being misrepresented in a national conversation that is almost turning global? What would be the action that should have been taken by now?
Anyway, for the lawyer, I think sometimes we have to watch what we say, because apparently either he's incensed or he's just pouring out his heart. But there is need for them to do some kind of homework too. Why don't you look at other tweets from the DSS? All the tweets they are all signed by the spokesperson, Dr. Peter Afunanya. It was signed by him. This particular one was not signed. When I talked to him, he said they're investigating it, and I think that should suffice until we find a result of what is happening. But writing to everybody, to God in heaven and all the rest, I think also shows that the lawyers that are pursuing this case don't understand the act that sets up the DSS. And if you give me some time, I'll just run through it quickly and point out the salient points for you.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, can I?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Now, we'll go to the National Security Agencies Act. If you look at that act, Section 1, subsection 3, tells you what are the duties of the DSS. That's prevention and detection within Nigeria of crime against the internal security. And then the second one is protection and preservation of all non-military classified matters concerning the internal security of Nigeria. And then, of course, most importantly, number 3, C, which says that such other responsibilities affecting internal security within Nigeria as the National Assembly or the President, as the case may be, is necessary. So, you go ahead, you sue the DSS, you want the DSS DG to leave, you can carry placards and go all over the place, but you are at the wrong door. You are at the wrong door, because these people, the DSS, does not wake up one morning and say they are going to arrest people or detain anybody. They do that at the direction of the President. Indeed. And if you want to know, Section 1, subsection 4 also said that the provisions of subsection 1, 2, 3 of this section shall have effect notwithstanding the provision of any other law to the contrary. I think as lawyers, they say they are more learned than everybody else. They should go and read and see who is responsible. You are knocking on the wrong door. You are knocking on the wrong door. Because
Dennis, I'm going to ask you a few more questions based on some of the things that you've spoken about. But I do want to say that you make a really great point about whether or not the tweets we have seen so far had the signature of the spokesperson, Peter Afunanya. Now, 6 days ago, the same handle was used and to talk about the ruling Counsel for Godwin Emefiele had got from the Abuja High Court. And indeed, it was signed by Peter Afunanya. We do not see that with the recent tweets. And I do understand that. But what I want to learn from you is, do the DSS have any idea where that came from? Do they think that their Twitter handle was hacked?
I think they have an idea of what's going on. In fact, there is a suspect, if you want me to talk more. There is a suspect and they are pursuing that, okay? But they have to investigate and then get to the root cause of everything and then come out with their own report to you, you know? So I don't think that even the tweet is the important thing. The tweet is not the important thing. The tweet is about Emefiele. The case is about Emefiele and why it should be released. You know, if government decide to keep on detaining him, it means that either there are many security reasons, either of, you know, trying to retain the evidence of what is going on, or he might be flight risk because he has even taken off before. You know, so
well, you know, before we get into the other substantive matter we want to discuss here, the continued detention of Godwin Emefiele, I want to talk about the suspect just for a little bit. Is this suspect within the DSS or outside the DSS?
I'm not going to discuss the operations of the DSS with you on television.
I thought you might say that, but I had to try.
Yes, I have. No, you know that I will say that. But the point is this: you are dealing with a secret service. Okay, let them do their thing, and they will come out for you, and they will come out and tell you there is no single personal thing here.
I see.
About anybody.
Dennis, I need to take a break, but before we do that, let me pick the thoughts of Maxwell. Maxwell, you've heard Dennis. He made some really salient points, particularly with the signature of the tweets we have seen on Twitter on the DSS handle. What would be your reaction to that? Makes sense, doesn't it?
My sister, I give you one simple illustration. As you are there now in Lagos, and somebody just called me. Are you Maxwell Opera? He said yes. You have there is a letter paper, Maxwell Opera, and that's what she is carrying your address and their name. So it was not signed. They use it to do this thing. What am I expected to do? In order to tell them that my law firm don't go into crime, I don't use my letter paper to commit crime, I should be the person. I will first of all come out to address, tell immediately that that particular letterhead paper is not from my office. I must make that statement immediately, to deny it immediately. Then, and I also promise you that just give me time. I will help you in the investigation. I will know the person that did that because my own office, my own character, my own profession is at stake. Are you know what I'm saying? When this thing happened, almost all the home media called them.
Right.
They kept quiet. Even the spokesperson, everybody kept quiet. My sister, what is the silence in law? Silence in law means admission. They admitted. It was after 48 hours. I'm hearing it for the first time that I say that they are not the person. I can tell you, I don't want to mention the media people that called them. They refused to respond. To say no, Nigeria should ignore such a thing. No, we cannot. Even people doubted that. They are doubting whether this is personal. I doubted it. I personally doubted it that no, this cannot come from the DSS. But when they kept quiet, that's when I draw my conclusion.
Do you see now? Oh, hold on. Do you see now that there is a very strong possibility that this is not the official position of the DSS?
I don't believe them. That is afterthought. Now, listen, let me tell you, my sister. Now, let us leave this issue of Twitter.
Maxwell, hear me out. On the face of what we know now, the fact that this tweet does not have the signature of the DSS, do you now see how there could be the possibility that this is not the official position of the DSS?
Can I tell you the reason? Can I tell you the reason why I will not believe them?
Go ahead.
I tell you? I told you that I have judgment from court where their lawyer was there. We have the judgment. We argue on the matter. Court gave judgment to the release. They refused to obey court order. Now I'm now seeing them that as an outlaw. I'm now seeing them as a disorganized organization. I'm now seeing them as an irresponsible organization. I have my reasons. I have my evidence. I can prove it anytime, any day. Now, if they are not telling me that they are not the people that wrote this thing, and they did not counter it immediately, and they started saying it after 48 hours, with the combined effect of this, by the evidence of their similar conduct, by the evidence of their previous misconduct, my sister, I will not believe them. My father told me that when a snake head bites you, if you still that head, you should be running. You should be very careful in taking anything that's coming from DSS because they are not people to be relied on. They are not people to be believed on. I can tell you anytime, any day.
Right, and the key question that we may not have an answer to right now is why the DSS has not officially responded to queries or to whether or not this is indeed from their office. You know, it just makes this whole thing murky. Now, hold on. I do want us to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the, the continued detention of your client. Don't go away. You're welcome back to The Square. It's been an exciting conversation here, one that could be breaking some hearts also. But still with me, Maxwell Okpara, who is counsel for suspended CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. We also have Dennis Amakri, who's a former deputy director for the DSS. Gentlemen, thank you for your patience and your insight on the subject matter today. Dennis, I also want to make the point with you that the DSS does have a spokesperson, Peter Afunanya. We all agree on that. The DSS also has the DSS also has alternative forms of communication outside of Twitter. If indeed this tweet didn't come from them, one would think that the first form of communication will be to debunk this using the other media they've got. They've got traditional media, they've got Facebook and all the other handles. Don't you think they should have done that by now? Would that be a flaw as far as you're concerned? Dennis, we can't hear you. It would seem you're muted.
Sorry. There is something going on here. Nobody or group of persons can sit out there and start to direct what the DSS can do and what they cannot do. I have told you, the only person they take orders from is the president of the country. President Bola Tinubu. And exactly, when you either want to do other things, or maybe I tend to look at that tweet again and say, whether somebody wrote about transfer aggression. Are these lawyers actually trying to attack the president, or they are trying to attack the DGSS? Because if they know and realize that the DGSS takes all his orders only from the president, why are they insisting? Because when you look at it, even the director of information in the office of the Secretary General, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, have also said that the detention is equal to ongoing investigation.
Right. So Dennis, I want you to stick to the question for me. I have very little time. I would want us to talk about the detention in a bit. But what I'm asking is, the DSS, whether or not they're taking the instruction from the executive, they do have to, at their disposal, on a very touchy issue as this, they have at their disposal other forms of communication. If this tweet didn't come from them, one would think that under 24 hours, they would make use and take advantage of all the other forms of communication they have. In this case, they haven't done that. And I'm asking you, do you think that that is a flaw in their handling of this process so far?
It's not a flaw. A lot of people have told them. I am sitting down here telling you too, because I tried to reach out. It was my service. And I tell you, and they said, no, it's a lie. Okay, if it's a lie, then you believe what you want to believe. You see, even the FBI of the United States here, have people hacking into their websites. People even using their jackets to go and raid people to make personal money. So it is not a new thing, when you see a tweet that is supposedly, the DSS have come to tell you that it is not from them. They have not come out to tell you that it is from them, and then you are insisting as if that's a substantial issue that you are looking for.
No, but Dennis, you've got to understand, and Maxwell, I'll come to you in a bit. You've got to understand that seeing this tweet on the handle of the DSS, and given the backdrop that the DSS has not lived up to deadlines given by courts regarding either charging and presenting Emefiele to court or releasing him, you tend to marry the two and say, oh no, something could be going on. And so that is why for a lot of people, it would have been important that the DSS comes out clearly to deny or take responsibility for the tweet on their handle. That's where, the counsel for Emefiele is coming from.
Well, the council should also know that the court has, the Emefiele is not illegally detained right now. In fact, I think the last court judgment was to keep him until either tomorrow or so.
No, today is the deadline. The order was given on the 13th.
Okay, very
on the
good.
12th. Yeah.
Very, very good. So if he's doing his job, he should know, or he might be preemptive, because if the court is already in agreement that Emefiele should be kept till today, then why is he going all over the place saying that they are not obeying court orders?
All right, let's go to Maxwell now. Let's spend some time with Maxwell now and find out from Maxwell. Maxwell, about the continued detention of your client. Like Dennis has said, the DSS is operating on the direction of the executive. We know that you also wrote to the executive demanding the removal and release of your client. What are you expecting to hear? If that's a point the Attorney General of the Federation has also made. What are you expecting there? Well, I think, Maxwell is no longer on the line with us, but when we do get Maxwell on that telephone, we'll speak more on his expectation from the presidency regarding all of this. But I'll stick with Dennis over the next few minutes. So Dennis, about the continued detention of Emefiele, well, you make the point that there is still time. But what we also know that there were other rulings, that deadlines have passed. The DSS has not released the Emefiele. What do we make of that? Maybe a more direct question will be, what will be the process in releasing a high-profile suspect like Emefiele after a court ruling? What is the process?
The process is very simple. The president or the secretary to the government of the Federation will make a pronouncement. The DSS they are just keepers. It's the same problem we had with El Zazaki. Remember? They are just keeping him. And then, in fact, when he started making noise, they decided that, okay, we are not going to keep you again. You go to prison custody. And he came out with his lawyers. Femi Falana is his lawyer. Ask him, he will tell you that, hey, I will prefer to be in the custody of the DSS. These are cases that we know. So it is very, very important that, these lawyers try to direct their fight to the appropriate place.
Indeed.
If they want Emefiele to be released, or Bawa, or Nnamdi Kanu, they know where to go.
Right. So let's talk to Maxwell now, Dennis. Maxwell, I was asking earlier, and again, Dennis has made the point that for the DSS to take any action, it should come from the presidency. We know that you wrote to the presidency about the release of your client, and as you have told us, the removal of the DG of the SS. But really, what are your expectations? He's still in there.
So, my sister, you're believing, hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So yeah, this thing you people are saying, for Christ's sake, the world is hearing, you know. The world is hearing. Nigeria is at stake. Look at what somebody is saying in the national television that is being heard by the entire world. That as you are now, you're a broadcaster working on this particular management. So if you're entering into that particular office, the management wrote a script and said that you should start calling people criminals, that you should start calling people prostitutes. So you will not ask question. Is this thing that I'm going to say, is it in consonance with NBC code? Would you ask that question, my sister? Would you ask the question that, what of after saying this thing and I leave the studio? Can't somebody sue me? Would you ask that question? Are you not educated? So you are now telling me that with as the director of DSS, if the president now ordered that you should go take AK-47, come to the market, go to Bergen and start killing people, you will do it because you are working for the president. You are not working in line with the Constitution. There is an enabling law that established DSS, deriving its own power from the Constitution, which says that once you arrest any person, the person is entitled to a legal practitioner of his choice. The person needs adequate time and the facility to put up his defense in line with the section of 36 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Don't you know that once you are, this is what we are telling this Emefiele. When he was busy destroying the CDN Act, and we are calling, he was misbehaving. See where he is now. Where is the Buhari? Where is the Buhari that go and tell Buhari? Buhari will deny him. Remember that when he thought about the Supreme Court gave order, he flouted it. People asked Buhari. Buhari in the broadcast said, "I did not ask him." How can somebody who has reached an office of DG, probably the president may be a mate, and is now asking you that you should commit a crime, that you should commit, yes, disobedience of court order is the crime, and you are putting your own character in issue. So you see, there are some things that when you are saying this thing, you continue to ask yourself. When they ask you, say, they don't understand how workings of the DSS is. The lawyers don't understand. What do you want me? I'm a lecturer, for Christ's sake. I'm about to finish my PhD in law. So when somebody is telling me something, I say maybe the lawyers. What are you telling me? The laws are there. The Buhari Obasanjo came and left. Yeradua came and left. Jonathan came and left. President Buhari came and left. So now we have President Bola Tinubu, and our law is still there. We can't allow you to destroy our law. So the point I'm making is that I have written to the president. I have written. Let them come. Let them say, come and defend that. Yes, the president asked me to do this. Then let's see how we will look at you. Listen, let me tell you, my sister. Listen, allow me to finish. Now, listen, let me tell you. I have seen all the whole things he put up as a defense. And when I look at this, I continue to ask myself, if we have a sort of public hearing now, is this thing somebody is coming to say that you are asked as a lecturer, you are employed to lecture, and the vice chancellor called you lecturer, said, yes, please, when you go to the class, try to rape one of the students. You say, yes, sir. Then you now go and rape the student. And when they ask you, say, the lecturer sent me. The vice chancellor sent me. You see, I don't want to go into that.
Let me draw you in. I get your analogy, but I want to draw you in. We know that the FCT High Court that gave the ruling gave 7 days to the DSS to release your client or charge him to court. Today is the 20th. I believe that ruling came out on the 13th or on the 12th. What are you hearing today?
Still on the same system. We are still on the same page. DSS is not only security agent that is under the president. Police is under the president. DSS is under the president. DSS is under the president. ICPC, all of them, they are under the commander of including the army. They are all under the command of the president. But what we are saying is that once you have a court order, right, you do what? You comply. If the president wants to sack you because you comply with the court order, I even say, then you have to go to court and challenge that sack because it was done in that state. Remember that the former IG Ibrahim Adamu, Buhari extended his tenure after his retirement. I went to court to challenge it. I said, my friend, leave. and based on that, he was asked to go. When Usman Baba Akali, the immediate past IG, came, after his tenure, President Buhari extended his tenure and gave him another appointment, another 4 years. I still went to court. We challenged it. While we are in court, they asked him to go. Now, the point we are making is that we cannot allow anybody. Yes, he is the president today. Does not mean that after 4 or 8 years, as the case may be, he will leave. Our law will be there. So what we are saying is that
we really have to go now. I apologize. We'll find some time and pick up on this again, considering this is an issue that very fluid and keeps developing. But thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Dennis Amakri is former Deputy Director of the DSS. Maxwell Okpara is counsel for suspended CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. By the end of today, we'll know whether or not another deadline has been missed by the DSS. But Dennis, you know your people need to speak to the Nigerian people. Thank you so much for your time here, all the same. You're shaking your head, but that's the truth, isn't it? It would help, it will clarify a lot of these things.
The secret is a secret
no.
service.
All right, we hope.
There is what we call Official Secret Act. You don't go and discuss those things on newspapers, please.
On that note.
You have to respect that. On
that note, we say goodbye this week on The Square. We are back same time on Monday here on News Central TV. I am Kemeni Amano. I'll see you. Bye-bye.